Tinariwen is the name of a band, and it's a shortened version of the phrase Kel Tinariwen, which is in the Tamashek language of the Tuareg people of northern Mali, basically from the Sahara Desert, and it means desert men or boys of the desert, and it's been shortened to Tinariwen, so it's generally taken to mean deserts, but actually it's not. That's not quite right, because it's not deserts plural, it's some things plural of the desert. Confusing. They were formed by a group of exiled Tuareg guys while they were on military training in Libya. They made a makeshift studio. This was in 1978, if I'm right, if I remember. And they would record their music onto blank cassettes that people gave them for free, and these cassettes became highly traded. They returned to Mali in 1989, and some of them fought as rebels in presumably a civil war that was going on at the time, but they went pro as a band, dedicating themselves full-time to music in 1991. So now they are considered a collective, and they include younger guys as well as the older guys that form them. And they are cited as being one of the foundational bands of a style called desert blues, which uses Western guitars and blends blues and traditional African music. And they have released 8 studio albums since 2001. Hi, my name's Dan. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a good day. So this was the 4th studio album by Tinariwen, and it was my first encounter with them as a band, I think. Sometimes with world music, I have come across them before, and there's something that makes me think. So I have an album for a festival, Desert Festival, and I believe they're a part of that, so they're probably on that album. But I don't remember them specifically from that. So this is described as being desert blues, which is in turn described as being a mix of blues and traditional African music. And I would say that description is spot on. It does a really good job of describing the feel of this music. The instruments used, there's guitars, including mostly electric guitars, with some very nice warm guitar sounds. There's laid-back vocals, often with a lot of backing vocals, and that gives it a particularly African feel with the way those vocals are done. Also, rather than a drum kit, they use African percussion, and then there's a bass in the mix. It reminds me of a guy called J.J. Cale, who's an American blues guy, kind of not one of the old traditional ones, kind of more 70s style, who had this very kind of laid back and warm sound. So this reminded me of that. But it also reminded me, of course, of some African traditional music that it draws on as well. So all the singing is in a language that I don't understand, presumably Tuareg. So I can't judge the lyrics, but I can judge it on the music and the delivery of the vocals. And, well, I like blues, and I like world music. I have a reasonable fondness for African music in particular. None of this was something that I would say was a challenging listen for me. In fact, I found it basically to be an enjoyable listen. So I would definitely listen to this album again. It had a really kind of nice, mellow but still groovy at times feel, and it was good. So, and I don't know why I always laugh at this point. That's it. That's my opinion, but I'd love to know what your opinion is. So please talk to me through the comments box. So that's it from me for now.
سيبداك لاكس فلتينا رجال تار انتشر غير سفرك كانك التواجي رزمت ظلمة موافني في رجال لا تنبتال